Hello friends! It's been 20 years since Christian Bale starred as a homicidal psychopath with a killer business card in the cult classic American Psycho. This week on Heat Vision Breakdown, we look at the controversial film that many consider to be Bale's breakout role, years before he took on the mantle of Batman, or the Bat Mantle. See what I did there? And co-star Jared Leto gave us his take on the Joker. I don't have a joke for that one, just look at the tattoo on his forehead. Bale starred as Patrick Bateman, an emotionally empty, narcissistic Wall Street serial killer. Looking back, it seems like Bale is the only actor who could play the character, but landing the role was no easy task. But it was even more difficult for the film and the novel upon which it's based to get made in the first place. Let's start with the book. Back in 1990, critics and public figures panned Bret Easton Ellis's novel for its disturbing content before it was even released. The New York Times deemed it worthless. Harsh. Some activist groups called for a boycott, and eventually publisher Simon & Schuster shelved American Psycho right before its release. However, another publisher, Vintage Books, acquired the rights, and in 1991, a paperback version of the novel hit shelves in bookstores around the globe. That's right, you used to be able to buy books at stores. Crazy. The film adaptation faced its own hurdles. In the late 90s, Mary Harron was attached to direct, but she struggled to get the film made with Christian Bale in the lead role. Although at that point, Bale had been a working actor since childhood, Newsies. The film's producers and studio wanted a more established star for the role. They wanted somebody who had led the biggest box office success in history at that point and knew how to draw Kate Winslet as one of his French girls. They wanted Leonardo DiCaprio. Don't we all? DiCaprio had just come off Titanic when he was sent the script for American Psycho. He was interested in the role but had questions about the character, and he also had other directors in mind like Martin Scorsese and Oliver Stone. Harron and Bale waited it out though, as Harron was confident that Leo wouldn't actually do the film and that Bale was the only one who could pull off the part. It turns out, she was right! Leo left the project to go make The Beach with Danny Boyle, putting Harron and Bale back in the saddle. Production began in Toronto in 1999, and the film premiered at the Sundance Film Festival in January 2000. The film's problems, however, continued, as just before it hit theaters, the MPAA gave American Psycho an NC-17 rating. Because of the part where he hacks Jared Leto up with an axe while Huey Lewis in the News plays in the background, you ask? No. Because of the part where he brutally murders a woman with a chainsaw? Also no. The rating was actually due to a sex scene. The filmmakers left the scene in, but trimmed it down a bit, which appeased the MPAA. It was then given an R rating and debuted in theaters on April 14th, 2000. The film received mixed reviews, but one thing seemed clear. Christian Bale was perfect for the role and was on track to Leo levels of acclaim and stardom. The New York Times, whose book critic had lambasted Ellis's novel just a decade earlier, called it a star-making performance for Bale in its April 2000 review. Oh, how the tides have turned. The role of Patrick Bateman, along with Bale's next few roles, including Reign of Fire, Equilibrium, and The Machinist, showed not only his range as an actor, and body fat percentage, but also seemed to prime Bale for the role of Bruce Wayne and Batman. In hindsight, the fact that there was ever a question about any role that Bale could pull off seems strange. I mean, this is the same dude. On the other hand, Jared Leto's path to the Joker doesn't feel as obvious. His role as Paul Allen in American Psycho, or as we like to call him, the guy who Christian Bale hacks to death with an axe while listening to Huey Lewis in the News, was somewhat forgettable.
You have a dog? A little chow or something?
In the early to mid-aughts, Leto shifted focus more so to his music career, and then in 2014 he won an Oscar for his role in Dallas Buyers Club. And what's the first thing an Oscar winner does? They make a comic book movie. Seriously, it's a legally binding contract that all actors must sign. Controversial as it may be, American Psycho was a turning point, a resurgence of the complicated character studies of the past like Travis Bickle and Michael Corleone, a precursor to Arthur Fleck, only he's in a slick suit and has a corner office, opposite sides of the same coin. The film didn't glorify materialism, classism, sexism, and murder. It lampooned them, and those themes remain relevant to this day. Despite its long, rocky road to the screen, the role catapulted Christian Bale's career and primed him to become one of the most celebrated heroes of our time.